Week 9. Um, Let me crack my beer first. We did have a great week last week. It's a couple weeks in a row, but you know what? You just put your head down. You just work through it, right? If gambling was easy, then everybody would do it. But it's not easy. And the best gamblers are the ones who just fucking grind through the weeks every single week, all throughout the year. Uh, you can't always win, but you'll find a way to win. You got to keep grinding. You'll find your way. It's just week by week. Every next week, you're always looking to the next week. You're not looking at the overall season. Just looking to next week. Just like a standard football coach, I'm always looking forward to the next game. So Saturday, Sunday, those are my next games. That's what I'm looking towards. I'm not looking back. Just so in case you're wondering, I was 1-4 in the NFL last week, 2-3 in college football last week. Man, I tell you what, there was a couple of games I got fucked on last week in the NFL. I thought the most angry I have been is when the Chargers got off to the monster lead. When you get off to a huge lead as a gambler, you just get to throw that game off to the side. And then there was no worse feeling than that game flashing up and it's a 3-point game. The worst feeling of a gambler's life. It's the worst. I don't wish that upon my worst enemies. I just hate it. Before we get started, my boy Pat on the ones and twos, he did maybe the dumbest thing ever last night and got engaged, but I'll say congratulations. Why did you make this decision, Pat? Why don't you tell the people of all your marks and your engagement?
Um, I just had to do it. When you find something good, you just gotta lock it up. You gotta commit. You gotta show commitment. When someone else is committed to you, and you're committed, and they're incredible. You gotta lock it up before they find someone better. So.
I mean, that's true. When we're kind of a piece of shit, rundown guys, and these girls, sometimes you just gotta lock them down before they know they can, realize they can get out of it, and that's sometimes just the key. Just like, oh wait, I'm starting to turn into a slut, but they don't see it yet, so let's get engaged. And then they can't get away. So
Hey,
that is a
hey man, I'm doing this podcast with you on a Friday night because I have fucking nothing better to do with my life,
right.
and she's extremely intelligent, master's degree, from Tufts, from Syracuse University. So
Yeah,
I just had to lock that up. I don't know what
yeah.
she sees in me, but I had to
Hey,
do it.
me and you both. My wife has a master's. We have a family cottage. I pretend like I'm rich. It's not even mine. It's just you gotta lock it down before it gets away, right? It's the best, smartest thing you can do. Yeah, can't really blame you. All right, let's get into this week's NFL games here. We're gonna start off right away. As you'll see on the screen, I don't know left or right of me, but you'll see all my picks as I go through them. But we'll discuss them. I'll talk about them. I'll answer any questions. I think my podcast partner said he was going to take an edible or some shit and ask a bunch of questions. So we'll see how that goes as we go. As you'll see, I think I'm in a little better focus. So we're making improvements week by week thanks to Pat. I got a new webcam, and this next week I'm getting a new fucking microphone. So I mean, next week we're gonna be balling. So it's gonna be fun. Pat's just improving this every week. I'm hoping we can start adding the podcast to the live streams as well. So that would be pretty fun, especially adding. I want to show off my new camera and my new microphone. It's gonna be awesome. So let's start out. Bills +3 versus the Seahawks. To me this is a game where like the Seahawks, they're looking like the best team in the NFL. Their defense played decent this last week. The Bills, they won, but they've been yeah, Josh Allen's been sloppy. Hasn't looked great. He's been inaccurate. It's been opposite of what you saw in September. And they're kind of like, I don't know, coming back to Bills. They're beating the Bills. Like, they get you excited, and then they come down to earth. But here's what I think is going to happen. The Seahawks defense, I know that they're getting Jamal Adams back. They just made a trade for somebody I think it was a linebacker or somebody on the defensive line. I can't remember. But the Bills have a defense. Like, they have a really good defense, and I think they can slow down the Seahawks offense a little bit. And the reason I like that is because the Bills will be able to score against the Seahawks defense that can't get pressure, just lets quarterbacks sit back there. Josh Allen will be able to run the ball. He'll have time to throw the ball. And even Josh Allen will be able to throw the ball accurately with like 5 to 6 seconds. So I think it's going to be really difficult. 1-2 punch with Singletary and Moss. Moss has been looking good. I think it's going to be really difficult for the Seahawks to be able to contain this Bills offense and continually score to keep up with them. And it's similar to what Green Bay did against like Minnesota. If you can run the ball against Green Bay, it puts the pressure on them to score their offense every fucking possession. And I think that's the same thing for the Seahawks. I think they're a team that gets upset early in the playoffs for that reason. I like the Bills +3 in this matchup. Game number 2 in the NFL. I'm going Bears Titans over. A simpleton. This is a simpleton would go the under 46.5. I'm not a simpleton. I'm going to win you money. I'm a shark. Over 46.5. The Titans defense also not a great defense. They're not doing anything. They released Vic Beasley because he is just maybe one of the worst free agent signings. Jadeveon Clowney hasn't been good up to this point. They don't get pressure either. You can run the ball on them. The defense has overall been bad. So as bad as the Bears offense can be, this is kind of the perfect matchup. David Montgomery is a really good running back. I think he can have a really solid game. I don't know if you have him in your upcoming DFS article this weekend, but I would consider Montgomery if you're playing in tournament style of fantasy this weekend. I would plug him in. I think he's going to score a touchdown and golf some yards against this defense. So I do think the Bears will be able to score some points. And the Titans adverse on the other side have this perfect balance of run and pass where it'll keep a very good Bears defense on their heels. When you run the ball that well with Derrick Henry and my boy, I call him Tyler Tannehill because he's a different quarterback than he was when he was Ryan Tannehill. I've changed his name completely. My boy, Tyler Tannehill, is going to come out, throw darts to A.J. Brown. Corey Davis has just been lights out, and nobody realizes it. And obviously, A.J. Brown's amazing. And Jonnu Smith down the middle. They've just got so many things they can hit you with. I think it's a good defense's nightmare. Like you just don't do. It's hard to be aggressive when you're guessing. So I think they're going to score. There's going to be a 27-23 game, which puts it at 50. So I'm glad I did that right. I like the over 46.5. Everybody's going to be under 46.5. Go with the sharp over 46.5. Ravens -1.5 at the Colts. This is just a point where I'm like, how it almost seems rat line-ish, but at the same time, I'm going to bite the cheese on this one. It just feels like bounce back game for the Ravens. I've said this over and over again. Aggressive defenses like the Colts tend to have trouble with running quarterbacks. I think it's just kind of the aggressiveness and over pursuing hurts them, and that's kind of what good defenses do. They're very aggressive, and the quarterbacks running the ball tends to fuck with those defenses a little bit. Lamar Jackson hasn't been good throwing the ball, period. But do you trust Phillip Rivers? Do you think Phillip Rivers is a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson? No. The Ravens have a very solid defense as well. The Colts are going to struggle to score at all. I don't know if they're going to score more than 10 to 17 points. I'll give them that range at most. And the Ravens will be able to score on this defense. They're a good football team. They're coming off angry. They're going to get the morale booster, I think, and Mark Ingram back. I'm hoping. But J.K. Dobbins is playing well. I like the Ravens -1.5 here. Ravens is one of my favorite picks of the week, by the way. Panthers +10.5. I also like this. I went 1 unit on the Packers last night because that's what I do. I'm upset that I couldn't give it to you people in this show, but if you know me, you should have just assumed that I was betting the Packers because they consistently cover the spread. So that was an easy win. But this 10.5 point Panthers +10.5 at the Chiefs. I know the Chiefs to people are like the gold standard, right? They're like the best team in the NFL, and that's what everybody sees. But they have weaknesses. They have flaws. They can't just kill everybody. They're not this unstoppable, awesome on defense, awesome on offense all the time team. Panthers are being really underrated in this game by giving double-digit points versus a solid team. I know the Panthers lost last week to a bad Falcons team, but you know what? The Packers lost to the Vikings. I don't push much into tough division rivalry games. Christian McCaffrey's back. Teddy Bridgewater's good. The Chiefs struggle against the run. They will allow you to score. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes, if you can jump one of those, throws over the middle and make a turnover, the Panthers are going to keep this close. They're going to keep this close the entire game. There's no way they're going to not be within 10 points after this game. Smash the Panthers +10.5. Lastly, I like the Saints straight up. I like the money line +185 at the Buccaneers. They beat them game one. Obviously, they're two different teams, but the reason I like the Saints in game one is still the same reasons now. Look, Michael Thomas hopefully is back in this game. Alvin Kamara is a monster. And the Giants played a tight game against the Buccaneers. Why? Because they didn't allow their aggressive defense to be as aggressive as they could be by running slants. And who loves throwing slants right now and running slants more than Michael Thomas and throwing slants more than Drew Brees, right? He can't throw the ball downfield. He wants to get the ball out of his hands quickly. And the Saints, the Buccaneers kind of want you to sit back so they want you to take a 3-step drop and so they can have a chance to get to you. I think it's shotgun. Drew Brees gets the snap, takes half a second, gets on the ball hands early, and they just are methodical, run with Kamara. That guy can run on anybody. I think the Saints will win this game straight up. Plus, they can get to Brady defensively. They have a solid defense. Brady he struggled against a Giants defense that was just getting to him. The Saints defense can do the same thing. They did it before. And Antonio Brown coming back doesn't mean much to me. Like I don't know how much he's going to be used. Saints win this game. They're 5-point dogs, but I'm telling you to take the money line on this one. What do you think, Pat? So far, what do you got for me in the NFL?
Hey man, all of that sounds pretty good. I'm looking at this Houston Jacksonville game. It opened up at a 51.5. The consensus right now on Vegas Insider has it at just 50.5. So I guess people are definitely betting the under on that. It's only gone down a point, but I will definitely take the under on that. Get the backup of all backups and Jake Luton starting for Jacksonville, and I just have no hope that Houston will have to be competitive in that game at all. I think they're just going to coast it out.
Do you remember what your pick was last week?
My pick last week.
Yeah, see, we were talking about how we need to keep track of this.
Yeah, what's up with that? I got to get a box up so I can jot it down. I'm gonna have to look at the stream and get some stats.
Like Pat's pick on here. Like that's what we'll do. We're gonna add for next week Pat's pick, and then like overall record if we can somehow do that.
Got it.
Here on our thing somewhere because we need to. You need to have at least one pick every week for the NFL. I won't make you do college.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. I'll make it happen.
All right, so we're going to do that. So you said you like the Jaguars, Texans under 50.5.
Yes, definitely.
All right, write that down somewhere. I'll put it here. You know what I'm going to do? As we're talking, I'm just going to throw it down here because that's what I look at. Pat's pick. Jaguars, Texans under 50.5. Perfect. I added it to the sheet, so we'll remember next week. We can remember if you want. All right, let's get a sip quick. Do we have anybody asking questions, talking? Has Ben eating edibles, or is he doing anything stupid?
We got nothing so far. I think Ben might be down the rabbit hole with that edible.
He might be sleeping after that edible. All right, so on to college football 2 and 3 last week. I'm excited about these picks. Tonight, if you're watching this right now, if you're going to watch this before either 6:30 or the 8 o'clock game, Miami plays North Carolina State. These aren't official picks on here, but I am betting North Carolina State plus the 10.5. And I love, again, always smashing BYU. I think they're sitting at -4 right now. BYU versus Boise State is going to be a fun game on the blue field. BYU is just a wagon. For these games, they just get up and they get going. They're going to crush this team. They're going to crush Boise State again, just like I said the last Friday night they played. Put everything on BYU that you help own. So, anyways, on to the Saturday game. Cincinnati minus. I took notes on this one. This is the only game I took notes on because I've been watching Cincinnati and I've been disrespecting Cincinnati. And I'm not doing it anymore. Cincinnati, I'm like -12.5 versus Houston. It's the AAC is typically a high-scoring conference. It's like I'm expecting these teams to put up points, but in the last 2 games, Cincinnati has smashed. They smashed. Let me see here. I think they beat Memphis last week, 49-10, and then 2 weeks ago, I can't remember who they. I think it was SMU. Held like nothing and smashed them as well. And those 2 teams are high-scoring teams that put up numbers and throw the ball downfield. SMU has, and I may be wrong about that, but SMU has Shane Buechele. I thought the best quarterback in the AAC, one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. Cincinnati, they're awesome. So I'm going to start with some Houston stats here. Houston last week gave up 681 yards, 681 total yards to UCF last week. 681 yards. Houston's top wide receiver is likely out, which kills them. So their defense is not good. They don't stop anybody. They rely on their offense to score, and that's what Memphis and SMU do as well, and they struggled against Cincinnati. Cincinnati is good. This quarterback, Desmond Ritter, Desmond Ritter, he's picking teams apart both on the ground and through the air. He's just doing everything. He's so calm. If you watch this guy, he doesn't seem phased. Everything he does is just relaxed, calm, cool, collected. He looks like an NFL quarterback. It's so weird. He doesn't get taken out of any of his group, and that's weird for a college quarterback. Not only has Cincinnati's offense been solid, consistent, moving the ball, crushing these teams that have very bad defenses, they're stopping them. Cincinnati is 8th in FBS, all college football, big programs, in scoring defense at 12 points per game, and they're 18th in total defense, only giving up 306.2 per game, in like one of the highest scoring. They're basically the Big 12, a smaller version of the Big 12. But they're better than that. The AAC is better than the Big 12 this year. They put up more points. And Cincinnati is shutting these high-powered offenses down while coming back and scoring. So they're strong on both sides of the ball. Minus 12 and a half. Lay all those points. Smash Cincinnati. I'm going to start respecting them. I'm not going to lose betting against Cincinnati anymore. I'm just not going to do it. Not going to do it. Cincinnati minus 12 and a half. North Carolina minus 12 versus Duke. This is not a college basketball game, although I am a Tar Heel fan. I like North Carolina off of losses, off of embarrassing losses, off of Florida State. They came back and they smashed the team they played the next week. Again, I talked about Virginia, thought it was a rat line. It was. North Carolina lost to Virginia. I don't know what their problem is, but like I said, they have an incredible running back, Sam Howell at quarterback, and some great wide receivers. Duke's not a good football team. They're mad. They're going to come out. They're going to win this game by 30, 40 points. Pull away in the third quarter. It's never going to be close. Game number 3. Kansas State again. You're going to see similar teams because, the more times I watch these teams, the better idea I have of them, whether I feel they're going to play well or not play well. I like Kansas State plus the 12 versus Oklahoma State. Now, Oklahoma State, this team just got smashed this last week. Their defense has been very good. They have a very good defense, but their offense, even with Chuba Hubbard, one of the best running backs in college football, has been subpar. I think their quarterback's name is Spencer Sanders, if I remember. I think that's his name. Hasn't been great. He hasn't been good. So they're relying on their defense. Kansas State's a cover machine. They didn't cover for the first time, I think, or maybe the second time all year. A rookie would get off that team. No, you keep riding with a team that keeps covers because them covering is more likely than not once you see it a lot. So plus 12 is too many points. I think Kansas State can actually win this game. I don't like Oklahoma State at all. They have an opportunistic defense, really good special teams, and they're an average offense, but I think they're just good enough to stop this Oklahoma State offense. All you do is focus on Chuba Hubbard. That's it. All right, this is a homer pick, but this is also a gut feeling. Nebraska money line plus 150 against Northwestern. It's a 3-point spread, but I think Nebraska is going to win this game straight up. This is a gut feeling. I watched them play Ohio State 2 weeks ago. Obviously, last weekend they got canceled because they played Wisconsin, who everybody has fucking coronavirus. I don't know what they were doing, if they had just a big giant orgy after their game against Illinois a couple of weeks back, and it spread they now all have an STD, and they all have herpes and corona at the same time. I don't know what was happening in their dorms or whatever, wherever they were, hotel rooms or something, what was spreading through. But Nebraska got the week off because Wisconsin's got a herpes and corona. I think they're sneaky good. Against Ohio State, their defensive line looked solid, and their offensive line was great. They've returned all guys. They're running the ball. Adrian Martinez plays to his strength. They're using McCaffrey both in the quarterback position. This McCaffrey is the younger brother, by the way, Pat, fact, of Christian McCaffrey, and also both sons of Ed McCaffrey. So that family is just a crew of McCaffreys. That kid is super athletic. They played him at running back, so he's a backup quarterback. They played him at running back last game. He played really fucking well. You can kind of just use him all over. I think they're sneaky good. They just played Ohio State, and Ohio State is heads and shoulders above everybody. Northwestern's 2-0, but they beat Iowa, who lost to Purdue. Purdue fucking stinks, and they smashed a bad Maryland team. I'm not putting much weight on that. I think the Nebraska team comes out and nobody knows that they're good because they played Ohio State, who's on a whole nother level of good. and they come out and they hand it to Northwestern. They're hitting the quarterback. They're running it down their throat. Northwestern has no idea what the fuck's going on. I love Nebraska winning this game. And lastly, but not leastly, I hope Ben is watching or does watch. I'm finally going to give Florida some love. Florida +3 at Georgia. Florida's been off for like 2 to 3 weeks. I think the last time they played was the Texas A&M game where the crowd was packed. And their coach was like, I want them to pack the crowd or pack the stadium in Florida next week. And then, of course, as soon as he said that, he got corona and a bunch of players on the team got corona. But Georgia, if they don't play JT, I don't know what's wrong with JT Daniels, the recruit from USC. They're everybody's presumed starting quarterback. But the Stetson is not it. He's not good. He can't move the ball. I'm not understanding where JT Daniels is. Stetson isn't it, and he's not going to beat this Florida team. This Florida team with Kyle Pitts and Kyle Trask, they're going to be able to move the ball. They're going to score. Georgia has an amazing defense. I've mentioned it before, one of the best defenses in all of college football. But I think Florida has so many weapons that they'll be able to move the ball enough that they'll score, 28 to, 25 to 30 points in that area, and Georgia will just struggle to move the ball. I know Florida's defense is their weakness, but Stetson is not going to be able to keep up with this team. I think Florida, I'd like them winning this game, but I will take the 3 points and take Florida. All right? That's all my games this weekend. I feel after saying the picks out loud, I feel even better about this league. I just have this overall great aura. I started off good last night betting the Packers, and I backdoored the over when the Niners scored 2 touchdowns in garbage time under 5 minutes. I've never been more happy to watch an opponent score against the Packers twice, so that was great. Do you have anything to add, Mr. Engaged? Do you have any comments, any questions on the YouTube channel? I don't know if anybody got a chance to join, but we'll post this on afterwards.
Not seeing anyone in the chat, but as of right now, but I can't wait to make a shitload of money. Got to plan a wedding, so got to make a shitload of money. I'm relying on you. It's important.
No better time to jump on the bandwagon than after you get engaged and have to pay for a wedding.
No better time to gamble all of my money than after getting engaged. Perfect. Right. That's the best advice I've ever heard.
It's exactly what you need to do because I'm about to double your net worth. So
Ryan just got in here. What's up, Ryan?
Oh, Ryan gets in the very last minute while I'm having a drink and getting ready to go eat some supper. Does he have anything to say before I sign out of here, or is he just gonna have to just watch this over again? We will post this again. You'll be able to replay, watch it, see all the winners before Saturday and Sunday. Let's fucking get that money. I don't think Ryan has anything to add, so I'm gonna say bye to you, Pat. I'm gonna say bye to all the fans. I will see you next week for